If you went swimming in the ocean 300
you were in
million years
the
ago,
water.
suddenly something drifted toward you. Your first reaction would definitely not be to swim away. You would probably freeze on the spot, because this thing had its eyes on two long stalks, sticking out of its head like crab claws. Its mouth sat right on the tip of its nose, lined with a full ring of saw-like teeth. And the craziest part, it had no bones and no shell. Its whole body was soft and floppy, yet it could crush armored trilobites with ease. In 2024, a top-tier scientific journal published a new paper, and the conclusion was just 4 words impossible to classify. What does that mean? It means in every biological classification system humans have, there is no place for it. It is not a fish, not a worm, and not anything you recognize. Paleontologists studied it for 60 years, held countless international conferences, argued so hard they almost came to blows, and finally reached a conclusion that made everyone uneasy. This creature's genetic blueprint looks like someone hit Ctrl-Z to undo, then forgot to save, and just tossed it into the ocean. Its name is the Tully monster, the only creature that completely broke Darwin's theory of evolution. The story begins in 1958 in Illinois, USA. There was an amateur fossil hunter named Francis Tully. One day, he was prying rocks at an abandoned coal mine near Mason Creek when he cracked open a dark gray concretion and froze for 3 seconds. A 30-centimeter black imprint lay right in the middle of the rock. The shape looked like an alien fossil. Tully carried the fossil to Chicago, to the Field Museum of Natural History. The paleontologist stared at it for 5 full minutes without saying a word, not out of excitement, but because his brain completely crashed. You need to understand, for professionals, identifying fossils is like a doctor reading an X-ray. You spot the problem instantly, but the Tully monster was different. It was like a Ferrari engine, mounted on bicycle tires. You have no idea where to even start. Museum experts studied it for 10 years. No one dared assign it a group. In 1966, scientists raised the white flag and simply named it the Tully monster. A rare surrender in scientific history. Calling something a monster is basically admitting you do not understand it. But what really drove people insane was not how weird it looked. It was that every single part of it could shred biology textbooks on its own. Its eyes were not on its face, but on 2 stiff sideways extensions, like light bulbs hanging from a barbell. This visual layout gave it nearly 360-degree vision. Any predator trying to ambush it would look like slow-motion replay. In 2016, Yale University used electron microscopes at 1,000 times magnification and found 2 types of melanosomes in the retina, round and elongated, neatly arranged like bricks. This structure only exists in vertebrates, with chemical composition identical to human eyes, and its mouth was even more disturbing. A long, thin proboscis extended from its head, like a tough, flexible straw, ending in a claw packed with 80 sharp teeth. This structure stands alone in the animal kingdom. It did not need to get close to prey. It could strike like a mechanical arm, driving its clamp straight into soft tissue. Imagine this, a straw with teeth stabbing toward your neck, followed by 2 floating eyeballs. Does that not feel like reality just glitched? After tormenting scientists for half a century, in 2016, Yale dropped a bombshell. Using synchrotron scans on over 1,200 fossils, they found a thin white line down the body. Yale scientists announced in Nature that this was a notochord, meaning it was a vertebrate, an ancient relative of lampreys. The paleontology world exploded. It meant humans had an alien-like cousin, living 300 million years ago. But the celebration lasted only 7 years. In 2023, the University of Tokyo arrived with micron-level 3D laser scanners, scanning 153 fossils, rebuilding full 3D anatomy, and everyone went silent. The Tokyo team discovered that the Tully monster was segmented from head to tail, including the section in front of the eyes. But vertebrate heads are never segmented. That is a hard rule. Structures once thought to be vertebrate features all fell apart. The so-called tripartite brain was just compression folds. Gill pouches were side indentations, and the notochord was unclear. In 2023, a paper published in a paleontology journal had a one-line title, Three-Dimensional Anatomical Evidence Rejects the Vertebrate Identity of the Tully Monster. The academic world fell silent again. We were back in 1958, still not knowing what it was. But now the problem was worse, because it clearly had vertebrate-level features, like complex eyes and efficient predation tools. They undeniably existed. It was not a vertebrate, yet it carried vertebrate-grade hardware, like a tractor with a Ferrari engine and a bicycle drivetrain. Even crazier, it could outrun cars. Even more unbelievable, this chimera thrived in deadly oceans 300 million years ago, living extremely well. The Mason Creek waters it lived in were shallow estuaries with extreme mortality. 90% of fossils died suddenly. Scientists believe toxic algae blooms were common, causing instant oxygen loss, mass suffocation events. Yet in this hellish environment, Tully monster fossils rank in the top 3, with over 35,000 found, proving it thrived. That soft, floppy body, biologic, should have been wiped out in the first hypoxic event, yet it became a permanent resident. As of 2025, paleontologists worldwide are still arguing endlessly. Pro-vertebrate camps say 1,200 fossils show a notochord. Opponents say it is a gut trace. Supporters say gill pouches were found. Opponents say they are just folds. The two sides have battled in top journals for a decade. The most ironic part is that in 1989, Illinois named it the state fossil because it is truly unique. But this uniqueness is so extreme that it has no place on the tree of life. 70 years later, scientists are still debating what it is and can only confirm 2 things. First, it is a genuine Earth organism. Isotope evidence proves it ate the same food as its contemporaries. Second, it plays by no rules. Every organ combination challenges our understanding of evolution. So what does the Tully monster teach us? Evolution is not a ladder from lower to higher life. It is a chaotic arms race. Some species level up slowly, others skip steps and cheat the system. The Tully monster is the most outrageous cheater, using an invertebrate chassis with vertebrate-grade sensory systems, dominating Carboniferous seas 300 million years ago. By the time we use our best technology, trying to crack its secrets, the Tully monster has long sunk into time, leaving us with an eternal question. Who says life must exist the way we understand it? Just when you think you grasp evolution, the Tully monster reminds you not to be so confident. The universe holds far more than we can comprehend. Alright, this episode about the ultimate prehistoric oddity, the Tully monster, ends here. See you next time.